If you be reproached for the name of Christ, happy are you. For the Spirit of glory and of God rests on you, and on their part he is evil spoken, but on your part he is glorified. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's affairs. Don't do it. There is a way we are to walk. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall be the end of them that obey not the gospel of God? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Wherefore let them, or because of these reasons above, let them that suffer according to the will of God commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing as unto a faithful Creator. That was Peter. There's a lot of stuff he wrote in those verses. But see, we're a partaker of Christ's sufferings. We're a participant, a member, a contributor. We're an assistant. You could even call us applicants. When you become Christ, you've just applied to be a disciple. It's not just about being saved and being safe. Now, but make no mistake here. When Christ was praying in the Gospels, he said, I pray thee, Father, that you would not take them out of the world, but keep them from the evil. And again, when he was teaching them to pray, he taught them to pray, deliver us from evil. You see, when I was growing up, yeah, there were gangs. You know, there was evil. Make no mistake, there was evil. But America, like for instance, my dad came out of World War II. He met my mom and they got married and had me. Excuse me. He was a corpsman. He worked to save servicemen's lives, or anybody that came to him, alongside the doctor. But before the doctor seen him, they seen the corpsman. He was a Navy corpsman. He worked in the hospitals. He worked on board ship. So when he got out, he came here. That was a long time ago. Now, I'm at the very age where my dad once was as an older man. But he wouldn't put up with no crap. He was a moral man. I remember a story he told me. They had friends that came over to play pinochle. And they usually met on a Friday night and they would play pinochle and have a good time. Well, one night, the guy suggested that they play strip poker. Well, Dad didn't hit him. But they ended the game and he told them to leave. And they never played with him again. He had certain values. He was saved at an Amy Semple McPherson revival. His mom, who is a Christian and a Norwegian, came to this country with her sisters. They met my grandfather, and one of them married him. But life is short. In America, you don't have time to keep screwing around. Your days are numbered. And if I could talk to everybody on the streets of America and tell them this message, they still wouldn't listen. Matter of fact, many of them would just beat anybody up that tries to tell them. And believe me, this little verse 16, yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on that behalf, on his behalf. One of our shows that we do is on Wednesday. We record it in our own studio. And we go through stories and information on the persecuted church. We tell you who the ministries are that are dealing with those on the ground overseas. We tell you who to donate to. Because those organizations need donations to help the persecuted. So in the middle of what we consider to be coming, the apocalypse, Christians are dying. And I think they're dying in the biggest numbers we've seen ever. One of the major groups that are doing it, of course, is North Korea, but he does it to his own people. China, they do that to their own people and those who live within their borders. Russia, he takes care of his own people. Iran, they persecute their own people that are not Muslim. But the big group outside of those nations are Muslim. And there's not a nation on earth right now, there's not an army anywhere that tries to stop all of these illegals. I mean, all these Muslims from killing Christians. But, as I said, mentioned by mistake, the illegals, a lot of them are Muslim. And they're all jihadists. And we have Muslims in this country that laugh. Within a couple of generations, we're going to take over America anyway. So it doesn't matter. And they're right, because that's the way it's going. This is not the America that I grew up in. And it's not the America that I called America or the United States. This today is a sad state of a country that has lost its moorings in the things of God. And many of those who have done this have done it on purpose. And there are globalists. They don't mind you having a religion, but keep it the hell away from them. They don't like your Christianity. They don't like your God. They know he exists. They reject him. And there's a whole lot of others. A lot of your Hollywood. They've always been Satanists. They never let you know it. They don't consider themselves Satanists, but they go to those things. And they deal in blood and death and blood sacrifice. You see, redemption is in the blood. God chose a long time ago that through the blood would atonement be made. And atonement had to be made for mankind, and Jesus Christ provided the atonement on the cross. He was dead and buried, and then he was resurrected 3 days later, and was seen alive by many infallible proofs. He ascended up to heaven in front of the apostles in a cloud. The angels looked at the apostles and said, "Why do you stand here looking, staring? This same Jesus, as you have seen him go, is going to come in like manner." And that's what we know. He's going to come in the clouds. He ascended to heaven in clouds. He's going to come back in clouds. Every eye is going to see him. He's not going to pop up in some country and say, "Well, here I am, the Savior of the world." But one will pop up, and he's the son of perdition. That's mentioned in 2 Thessalonians 2. He is the same one that is called the beast in Revelation 13. And he's going to have a helper. And I'll tell you who many people think the beast is. Barack Obama. Now see, I know about Barack Obama because a long time ago I had this woman, very, very good preacher, teacher, evangelist. She was a missionary. And she knew pastors in Kenya. And they knew of Barack Obama. And they told her, and she told me, and I heard their testimony, saying that Obama used to have the voodoo priests do blood sacrifices to give him power. I saw a video of Barack Obama admitting before a crowd that he was not an American citizen. But he became president anyway. I know these things. I saw them. They came from reputable pastors. And the woman that I knew that I had interviewed her and we were talking about this was an upstanding, fine woman. And so America has already made its choice that